Because if you're allowed to accept blame in your own mind, and you're like, you know what, I was a part of that. I did make a mistake. There's more of a chance that it won't happen again. Welcome to 45 on the Hour podcast. I'm your host, Colt 45, and we're here with
the Dark Knight.
I thought I wouldn't just say anything, and then all of a sudden something would just populate, and you'd be like, bro, you got to say something, right?
We've gone through like 100 different versions.
Yeah.
I'm the co-host of the Dark Knight, Erik Medina. Good morning.
Professor, legend, freaking jiu-jitsu practitioner, black belt.
Just a regular guy.
Undercover agent.
Hey, don't be diving me out on. No, you guys, I'm just a regular. Today, I'm a regular guy handling life's issues.
You are, right?
Yeah.
It's been some issues this morning, bro. We woke up into a problematic morning, man. We were supposed to start this podcast at 10 a.m., and now it's 11:30. We've just been shuffling through our own adversities.
Yes, sir.
Which is actually the topic of this podcast, right?
Yeah.
So we wanted to talk about this, guys, because a lot of people don't understand the word adversity and what it really means. Not only are we going to talk about it, we're going to talk about adversity in our lives a little bit, but we're also going to talk about how we have 9 good tips for you, okay, that we've created to overcome and deal with adversity. So first, I want to go into the definition, and I'm going to talk to you, bro, because I got a couple questions for you about this. Okay. Adversity, okay, is when you have difficulties or misfortune in your life, okay? So you came from a background that was hard, that was shitty, that wasn't normal, okay? Let's just say, like a normal upbringing where you were raised by 2 parents maybe, and in a standard living situation with peace and joy and, I love yous and all that good stuff, and you went to a nice school and whatever, Maybe you grew up into something more like me, okay? Which was, dad not around, mom struggling to provide ends meet, not having all the things that kids could have, growing up in their life, struggling with your little sister just to get by, and then, getting around, street gangs and, dealing with that and trying to figure out how to be a man. And then boom, 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 before you know it, the world starts shaping you, right? Adversity is something that is just given to the best of us, I believe.
Yeah, everybody's dealt their own set of hands, right?
Correct. I believe
cards,
everyone
right?
has some sort of level of adversity in their life that they deal with, whether it be your upbringing, whether it be your personal being and who you are, things that you were born with, maybe you were born with.
Things you were born into.
Maybe even like, how like Jean-Jacques was born with like one hand, right?
Or one birth defect,
birth defect, I guess you could say, which is, he overcame it. Like phenomenally. He was like the best jiu-jitsu practitioner.
Had to change the game to
correct
to suit him.
Correct. So we're going to get into that, right? We're going to get into changing the game and using your adversity to help you, right? Overcome these things. Because when you have no way out and you have an adversity, you have a dysfunction, a difficulty, a misfortune, you want to stare at your adversity in the face, okay? And you want to say, you know what? The only way to overcome adversity is to act like it doesn't matter to you, okay? It doesn't matter. You don't give a shit. You're going to power through it. You're going to overcome it, and you're going to bulldoze it to the fucking ground, right? That's the only way to overcome adversity, is to oversee it as it doesn't matter, okay? It's there to power you.
It's an obstacle to get over.
Correct. Adversity is just power from beneath, from below. That's all it is.
Oh.
I use it as my power. I use it like to actually like get to where I'm going to go. I say, you know what? That should piss you off in life. If you had come through so much, just think about this for a second. You were born into a shitty ass family. For me, my dad was a transgender. My mom was struggling with that past, being poor, not being able to really provide for me and my sister, getting up at 4 a.m. to travel 40 minutes to go stay with my grandparents, to get up in the morning to go to school, to do all this crazy stuff that a normal kid wouldn't have to do, getting raised by his grandparents, learning from the streets how to, be a man. all these things that developed me into the character that I am today have helped me. They've made me a stronger person. I was lucky to go through the adversities because now I'm thankful. I'm thankful. I've been adversified into a better person, right? Because of this, because it's helped me grow. So what I want you to do is, before we get into our 9 tips, is look at adversity more or less as like you were gifted something.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like a gift.
This is going to make you stronger, make you better.
Correct. Yeah, and adversity will make you better because it's something that makes things harder for you, right? And I love the hard, man. Everything I do, I take the hard road. Everything. If there's a paved road and a dirt road, I'm probably taking the dirt road because that's just Colt, okay? I like the hard, man. I do. Because the more hard things that you do, the less things seem hard to you, especially once it's approached you. You know what I'm saying? In any form or shape or matter. Yeah, so understanding adversity. Have you ever dealt with any adversity in your life, bro?
I have dealt with adversity, but I would also say, like, from childhood, no. I had a happy, good 2-parent, friggin' didn't struggle for nothing, I first learned adversity through sports like wrestling, and then right after high school, I learned real adversity through the military, and then kind of kept that little bit of like, oh, I like the hard stuff. You know what I'm saying? Life has happened to me. I've had adversity with like friends and business, wins and losses, relationship, adversity. But growing up, I could say that I didn't have like a chip on my shoulder. As an adult, I could see, though, how that affects individuals now. You know what I'm saying? The story that they've been told or believe in, Right now, I'd say, we kind of just got here in a weird way of like everybody had to deal with adversity. The 3 of us in this room had to deal with some type of adversity, dealing with other people, whether it be phone calls, missing payments, all sorts of nonsense of like, but each of those things after they're done, they have put us in a different way of like, okay, check in the box. I accomplished it.
Right.
This is what it means to be a boss. This is why we're in charge, because people come to us with issues and boom, we delegate. Do this, or don't do this. Handle this. You can't handle this? Like, get out of here. You're not the one. Where did I learn that? Not from the easy life. Not from things being handed to me, not from not doing the work required, But man, you guys said you got 9 tips for us today.
Yeah.
Let's hear some. Let's hear one number 1. Let's get into it.
First, I want to get back into it. If like what we were just saying, I get pissed off from my past enough to where I'm like, you know what, Colt, that shit. I talk to myself in like the third person. I go, you know what, Colt, that should piss you off that you went through all that shit, and that all you wanted to do was be a little boy that grew up in a normal family. You just wanted to be a good little boy that just had his dad there to teach him, teach you how to be a man and grow up with you, but you did it. That should piss you off. That should make you want to be resilient. Adversity creates resiliency. It does. It makes you resilient in life. It really does. Because we can never be just given anything, because we'll never appreciate it. You got to pay to play. You've heard that whole theory, And I think that it should make you mad. It should make you pissed off. If you've gone through hardship and you've had an adversified life from start, and you're like, oh, instead of being like, oh, boo-hoo me, I'm the victim, just know that, hey, I went through all this shit, and I should be pissed off enough to where I cannot let the world win. I have to figure out a way to do what it is that I need to do in my life to reach whatever goal I need, to whether I'm going to freaking weather all the obstacles, and I'm just going to keep pushing forward. And even if everything fucking gets taken out from underneath me, I'm going to lose everything. I don't give a shit. I'm going to keep waking up every fucking morning, and I'm going to keep doing the same exact process no matter what.
That's a leader right there. That's a winner.
Correct. Getting into resilience comes through adversity, right? So we got to talk about this. We got to talk about the 9 steps. So there's 9 ways. I said steps. There's 9 ways to overcome adversity, okay? Adversity. Hold on. Let me read this. I wrote this down. Okay. So number 1, try to release excuses, okay? I think that when we have excuses, they allow us to shift blame, okay? And deny our role in your current situation, okay? You want to elaborate on that a little bit?
Okay, so you say,
Excuses allow you to shift blame and deny your own role.
dude,
in your own current situation.
you could hide behind excuses. This is like, oh, something's not going right for me. I'm gonna say like four reasons why, and it's unique to me. Nobody likes me. My boss doesn't pay me enough. Everything's so expensive. You know what I'm saying? Like, these are all just like stories you tell yourself to like put the blame on something else rather than yourself,
So why is shifting the blame bad?
because it doesn't let you get to the root cause of how you're going to fix it. You're almost like covering dirt on it in a way. You're just like, you're hiding out. You haven't taken a step forward with action to make things better. You're still using words. You're using cover and concealment to like, this is the reason why, instead of taking ownership.
I like that. Ownership's important, isn't it? When you're dealing with adversity, right?
Ownership is the part where you're like, I am going to fix this. Whether you have to get pissed off.
But why is that important, though?
Why is that important? Because that's step 1. You're either going to acknowledge the
It's
problem.
self-reflecting, right?
Oh yeah, you're going to acknowledge the problem and make action towards it, or you're going to pretend it's not a problem and delay it, put it off, procrastinate. That's
So taking
that's
ownership-
a hard part.
I like how you said that. Taking ownership cures the disease immediately. That's what I'm trying to see. That's what I'm trying to get at.
Right on.
If you're shifting blame, you're just delaying the process. So if you're like, hey, there's an issue here, like, are we going to deal with it? And you're like, well, no, it's not my fault. It's his fault. It's like, but you were a part of it, right? Well, I know, but it's really his fault. It's like, okay, cool. Well, you were a part of it. And the sooner that you reflect, right? If you're not reflecting, you're projecting, right? So that's really what you're doing. Everyone needs to self-reflect, or then they end up projecting, and they project it outward, externally, right? So you want to be able to keep it internal. You want to say, okay, this is really me. Because the more times that you accept responsibility for things instead of creating excuses, you end up building like almost like a confident feature within yourself every time. So you add points to that scale. And once you accumulate so many points, then you don't really like make excuses for anything. You kind of almost accept 100% of blame on everything that you were ever a part of, right? Because accepting blame into a situation shows your character, shows your true value to yourself.
It's part of the ownership.
And it's also a learning technique, because if you're allowed to accept blame in your own mind and you're like, you know what, I was a part of that, I did make a mistake, there's more of a chance that it won't happen again. So if you're trying to not have adversity anymore and say that, you're this victim, the only way that you grow is to correct things, to correct and change, right, behaviors and habits. So the sooner that you realize that you made a mistake, the faster you can correct the change and project a better outcome in the future, right? So you're going to speak more positively. You're going to say, yeah, I made a mistake. Let's correct the mistake, right? That's why I always say, like, people that always come up with problems and never have solutions, they're just bitches. They're just whiners.
It's annoying, dude.
It's annoying as shit. I hate it. I hate it when I deal with it with people, when they're just like, oh, yeah, there's this problem 1, problem 2. And I'm like, okay, well, what's the solution? Let's figure this out. Well, they just blah, 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 blah. And all they just want to do is bitch, and they just want attention.
Yeah. If you
want attention, and you're being a little bitch.
If you're speaking on a problem, but you're not asking for a way out or advice, then you're just bitching. You're just complaining.
Correct. And I think that that's just the way it is. If you're looking for problems without solutions, then you're just looking for attention. And I don't have time for that shit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have time for that shit. So, guys, work on trying to release excuses. Okay? You feel like you have an excuse for something, own everything. every fucking thing that you do, if you speak your mind and you have an involvement in something and someone has an issue with it or there's a problem because of it, it is your problem. In a company, in my businesses, if I'm operating and I tell my guy to do something and he's 2,000 miles away doing it and he messes it up, whose problem is it? Mine. He works for me. It is my problem, ultimately. And I take full responsibility and blame. And I make sure that that doesn't happen again. That's the only way that you stack chips. That's the only way that you grow. You accept it for everybody. It is all of my problem. You mess up, it is my problem. He messes up, it is my problem. They mess up, it is my problem. If we are connected. That's number one. Number two is pretty cool. Change your focus, guys. Okay? Focusing too much on the negative can lead to psychological phenomena known as self-fulfilling prophecy. Okay? We're going to talk about this. You have to visualize positive self-talk. Okay? Mindfulness, meditation. There's other strategies to help you with that. If you focus on the negative, you're not going to see things the right way. You're not going to see them the same as if you were when you have positive mindset. And I know a lot of people are they're going to debate that. You know, they're going to say, "Oh, well, we've talked about this before." Well, check it out. If you think negatively, your life is going to feel negative. Your reality is all based on your perception. And if your perception in life is to think that everything is bad, then all you're going to see is fucking bad. Because guess what? You're going to attract bad. You're going to attract bad people. You're going to attract fucking bad everything. Mm-hmm. Everything. Even your energy, even your stomach, even just anything that you do is going to be bad. Anything that you create in your world, in your mind, everything starts with your mind. What were you going to say? Before I ran you over, I'm sorry.
No. I agree with what you're saying. It's like, if you were given a scenario where it's like 90% bad, 10% good.
Okay.
I'm going to focus on the 10% good. You know?
Correct.
I'm going to give energy to the things that are going to be positive rather than the things that are going to be negative.
So, you know, there was a thing that came out. It said 92% of your thoughts, or 90% of your thoughts, I think it was, every day are the same, right?
Okay.
So they're the same as it was the day before that, and the day before that. Our minds are built to go into energy-saving mode, guys, okay? If your mode is consistently the same, your body and your mind is going to be triggered to go to that. So typically, if you wake up in this mindset of, damn, I have this negative mindset every morning when I wake up. I think about the past. I think about what happened to me 2 days ago, a year ago, whatever it is. And I haven't had a chance to let it go, right? Your mind goes to that because your mind is used to just energy saving, right? And it's like, okay, well, we don't want to think about something new because that generates more energy, like a new way to get around this. So we're going to go to what's familiar, the familiar past. So your mind just typically goes to what it's familiar with. So it goes to the negative. But when you work on it, if you have that 8 or 10%, which is actually the ability to change the process, right? Because it's like a hamster wheel. The more you turn it, the faster it goes, right? And the faster it goes, the more it accumulates, right? So if you have the ability to think, okay, well, I'm thinking 90%, 92% negative right now, but I'm going to start focusing on the positive. Okay, well, I woke up, I'm grateful. So when I was going through this stuff when I was 37, I was having all these negative thoughts. I let my mind run rampant. I had these thoughts of just crazy stuff all the time, completely negative. And I was in such a bad state that I decided that I needed to live for somebody else. And I lived for my kids. And the only way I got out of it, guys, is I learned through osmosis. I changed my focus 100%, and I put in my ears constant positivity. I literally wore headphones 12 hours a day, minimum. And I was listening to positive self-talk, self-healing stuff. I was listening to Ed Milet. I was listening to Wes Watson. I was listening to other people, Bedros, that were giving me constant self-talk. And I wasn't catching everything, but I would rewind. I would start over, and I would listen to the same things, and eventually something would click. And that's a win. Things would click. Once they start clicking, right, in your head, the focus starts shifting minorly, right? And it takes time. It took me years to change my mindset. But once you create the positive self-talk and the mindfulness, and you're more willing to see the world in a different view, even though you don't understand the world view yet, you're going to start seeing progress. You're going to start feeling better. Your mood will change. Your body will feel differently, right? But you got to focus on the three things that we've always talked about, right? Physical, mental, and spiritual, right? If you focus on three of those things daily, You focus on positive self-talk. You have a schedule. You get your wins in daily. There is absolutely no reason why you can't be fulfilled. Okay. But if you keep thinking the negative self-talk, you're become what you think about, and that's just a fact. Number 3, try journaling, guys. Okay. I write down every single thought that makes sense for me. Every single quote. I have a list. I'll prove it to you guys. Show you guys. I'm going to show you guys I want you guys to see this. Hold up. So any of you guys in podcast land that can see this, if you're on YouTube, this is my growth notes. Goes forever. Every thought that I have, every positive thought that I have 2 of them, gets written down inside of my notes. And I make a note and I record it and I put a good mental note for it and I memorize the quote, whether I learned that from a Stoic or learned that from somebody else. And I consistently memorize all these positive things and to get me to a better self-actualization. Journaling is probably one of the better things. A lot of people learn from writing things down. Writing things down also helps you to memorize it a little bit easier. It does for me. And it's almost therapeutic too. When you're writing something down, the therapy of actually writing something down is almost like burning it into your soul. First, just thinking about it and be like, wow, that's great. And then 20 minutes later, you forgot about it. It also allows you to self-reflect. So we go back to the last one, right? Or the one before that. Self-reflecting. Those that don't self-reflect project, okay? That's just a fact. You have to be able to self-reflect daily. So this is a self-progress thing, guys. You are not going to be better unless you're willing to consistently put in the effort to consistently try to learn. I put in a minimum of 2 hours a day into self-help, okay? That's my minimum, okay? I try to put at least 3 hours if I can, and up to 4. I literally will listen to things, Stoics, I'll listen to a lot of Stoicism, things like that, podcasts, over actually listening to music at the gym, believe it or not. If you catch me at the gym, I'm probably listening to a podcast or I'm probably reading an audiobook, something like that. Only because the smarter that we are, guys, the less confusion we have, right? And that's just a fact. If you're confused right now, you're confused about where you're at in life, your decision-making process, what you're up to, life's all about learning. The more that you know, the less confused you are, right? And fear is confusion. That's what I believe fear is. I used to be afraid of a lot of things. Everything that I was ever afraid of, though, I faced head on. Do you know that? Anything, the Marine Corps,
I've ran from a bunch of stuff, but
yeah.
Now I know that was wrong.
Yeah, I like to face fear head on.
Mm-hmm.
I like to confront it. Almost like it's like, the Grim Reaper, and I'm like, hey, what's up? You know what I mean? And I look at it like that, like
a gangster. Let's go.
I look at it like, damn, I'm Colt motherfucking Curtis. What's up, homie? I'm here. What do you got for me? And you can call that a gangster. You can call that some sort of outer body experience, but that's what gets me off is confronting fears. I do believe that fear is confusion. When you're afraid of something, it's because you don't understand it. And just understand that anything that you're fearful of, God oversees that. He probably put that there. He actually did put that there. If you're afraid of the devil is the prince. And so God put him on this earth to work for him, in a sense. So, crazy to think about, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
So anything you're fearful of, you shouldn't be. The only person you should fear is God.
It was meant to move you in a certain direction.
Correct. Number 4, block out the bad noise, guys. Oh my God, this is such a huge one for me. Everyone has opinions, and not all helpful. Not all are helpful or constructive. Some can even bring you down and make it easier to engage in self-doubt. Okay, guys, you should try to block out all the negativity in a variety of different stages. Practice self-care, setting clear boundaries, but you should also use the ones that work for you. Okay, so for me, I used to have this thing where I would just go through life and then I would have a thought, and I don't know how to explain it. I almost feel like my brain is literally like a library. So like it's like these aisles of libraries, and I'm walking down a library, and then when I need information, I go to the book and I pull the book and I read it, and then depending on how many times I've grabbed that book allows me a level of confidence, right? But sometimes I'm in that library, and then the Grim Reaper rolls up on me, and he's like facing me, in the library. And he's like, hey, you need to come this way. That's almost like the negative noise, right? The bad noise. And so I confront it. Like I was telling you, I confront fear straight in the face. So I'll talk to myself in the third person in my brain, and I'll say, wait, hold on a second. I don't know you shit, okay? My maker is him, God. And I'm going to put a block on this. And I literally instantly build a wall, like almost like as if like a wall just got formulated from God and it was like built with concrete and blocks, almost like, like red bricks. And it's like boom, 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 right in front of the Grim Reaper. Yeah, and then I'm just sticking my middle finger up at him like, fuck you. I don't need you. And I turn around and go back to my books.
Right on.
And I pull the book that I need for the day, the information that I need that's positive information, the information that's going to carry me to the next level.
That's your discipline and willpower at work right there.
Correct.
Right?
So blocking out the bad noises, a lot of people have problems with this. A lot of my vets, a lot of first responders, people with severe trauma in their life, they have a problem blocking out bad noises, guys. And I'm going to tell you right now, the only way that you can block out bad noises is with good, okay? Good versus evil, right? So when you think bad, when you think of a negative noise and it's there and you're thinking negativity, just block that shit out. Tony Robbins had a good presentation I watched on YouTube years ago. And I actually learned this from him. When you have a negative thought, who says you can't build a wall in front of it? Don't even entertain it. Don't even think about it. Don't elaborate on it. Don't sit there and just think, okay, what about this? Oh yeah, you know what? That could happen. What about, because then you're going to start yourself down the spiral. If you build up a resilience in self-talk and you don't think about the negative talk and you just literally don't even entertain it, don't even think about it, eventually you build up this like sustainability to where you can overcome anything. And I'm at the level almost to where I literally have probably less than 3% negative self-talk ever.
Nice.
I just don't feel it. Anytime I feel it, it's like, boom, I've gotten so used to the block that it's just normal now.
You
it's
bounce
part
off,
of life.
You bounce
It's
off
like going
the
to the gym. Like, it's just normal.
Mm-hmm.
There's no effort in it. Block out the bad noises, guys. I just gave you guys a bunch of examples on how to do that. Do not entertain these fucking noises, okay? Negative energy is unwanted around here in Colt land, okay?
I got you. I like that.
Number 5, celebrate your accomplishments, guys. Oh, my God. This is huge. A lot of you guys don't like take the small wins and then like celebrate on them. Celebrate every win, big or small. You made your bed this morning? Fucking A, dude. Hell yeah, dude. I fucking did that shit. Because every task is a win. Every single accomplishment is a win. Acknowledge them when it happens. Give yourself self-credit. Give yourself something to go off of. You know what I'm saying? Like, shit, man, we made it a year in business today. Fuck yeah, dude. That's fucking rad. Let's go celebrate. Let's go do dinner. Let's tell everybody. Let's do a post about it. Let's tell everyone what's up, Get hype on that. This is life, guys. Every day is a choice. You lived another day because you were granted another day. You're blessed. You know what I'm saying? So if you got through all your wins for the day, you made it through the day, you added, you stacked, you went to the gym when you didn't feel like it, you felt like $1 million, dude, because you're doing it because you're tired of feeling the way that you feel. That's fucking a win, man, And every win creates and builds up self-confidence. And it builds up your self-esteem, which is important. The more self-esteem you have, guys, the more self-confidence you have, the easier it is to face adversity. I walk into life, like just generally, with my accomplishments and who I was, as almost like a sign of it's like a trophy field. So when I walk up to somebody, and this isn't like a cocky thing, okay? This is a way to live life. And this is also a way to protect you. Think of your life like a bunch of trophies behind you. How many trophies do you have on the wall?
A bunch.
Okay, you do, and I do, and Ghost does. But what about the random dude on the street that's going to try to put you down?
Hey, man.
Guess what? I'm going to tell you. You walk up to that dude and he says, you know what? You ain't nothing, Eric. You ain't shit. You know what I do? I think like this. I look back at my trophies and I go, wait a minute. Hold on. There's that fucking wall. And then this guy has no trophies. Oh, no, I see a dusty one over there. Yeah. I can't take what you're saying to face value. Unfortunately, what you're saying doesn't affect me. First of all, anyone that's going to talk shit to you, okay, isn't anywhere near where you're at.
Right.
I've never heard someone at a superior level than me put me down. Ever. Never happens.
Earlier you said
Ever.
Earlier today, we were dealing with a bunch of stuff, and you said, "Don't let anybody affect your state."
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
especially somebody that hasn't done what you've done or at the level you're at.
Correct, because you're living by a sense of pride and belonging. You belong. You've committed. You've done all these tasks. You've done it. You've made a sense in life. You have a purpose. You know. Now you're one to heal people. And when people come at you with crazy, things for trying to put you down or whatever, it's like, look at all these accomplishments I have. What are you talking about? How could you ever put someone down like that? I know you're hurting, man. That's why you're trying to project because you're not self-reflecting. So we'll just give you a minute. Listen to one of my podcasts. We'll get back to that. Number 6, surround yourself with positive people, bro.
It's a big one.
Fucking huge, man. You are who the 5 people that you hang around, guys. If you hang around with 5 shitty-ass people or 1 shitty-ass person, that's just negative Nancy. Everyone has a negative Nancy. Everyone has a Karen in their life, right? Someone that just tries to, like, Debbie down shit. Dude, I am so sensitive, okay, to people's energy. So sensitive. If I feel like your energy is negative and I don't even know you and you've done nothing wrong to me, I'm out. I'm out, dog. I'm goner. I'm not in the same room as you. You know why? Because I'm sensitive to it. I understand how important it is to me. My job is to bring people around me up. And I'm always looking to put someone in someone else's place. I know that sounds crazy, but I'm always looking for the next best step. I want people that make me better in my life. I want to look for these people. I don't want to be like, okay, I'm going to plug you in. I'm going to invest my time in because my time is not just all over the place. Like I have very limited time. So if I'm going to spend time with individuals, it better be people that can make me better and people that care about me, okay? People that are positive, people that are always shooting for better because guess what? The people that you hang around the most are who you're going to become. You will become them. If you hang around with 5 fucking drug addicts, you're going to become a drug addict. Hang around with 5 alcoholics, you're going to become an alcoholic. If you hang around with people that fucking do nothing all day and wait for the next UFC fight to come on, guess what? You're going to be the same, okay? Hang around people that work out every day. Hang around with people that want more for their life, that are fucking trying to start new businesses and having new ideas and coming to you with cool ideas and trying to get your mind rolling. Guess what? Your mind's going to change. It's going to become the same as them. Mm-hmm. Adopt a good friend, guys. Find one good person. Find just one. Start there. Look at your circle. Identify your circle. Does your circle make you better, or does it make you worse, or does it keep you in the same boat? Same space. Okay? People with good mindsets. God, what this stupid computer. People with good mindsets help energize you, okay? And the people that have the confidence to keep you going and the people that are, at different levels will bring you up because they're the ones that you can learn from. So you're getting free information, and they're basically telling you how to get there.
And the opposite is true, too. If you're hanging around with negative people, they're going to drag you down.
100%.
They're going to steal your energy.
100%.
They're going to fill you with doubt.
And a lot of people they just don't do it. And I'm telling you guys, I'm going to tell you guys something from experience. Even if it's your family, okay? Even if it's your mom or your sister or your brother or your dad or whatever. I recently, over a year ago, I had to put my mom in her place. True story. Love my mom to death. God bless her. But my mom and me had words, on control. And the last thing that you want to ever have is have someone have control over you, okay? Because if they have control over you, that's not good. You don't ever want anyone to have control over you, okay? You want to have control over yourself. You'll be better off that way, even if you have less. But I had to put some boundaries up, and those boundaries were healthy boundaries. But people eventually adapt. And now the relationship with my mom is very gentle, coming back into fruition with it.
Okay, good.
Talking to her, allowing certain things to happen. But you have to have good, healthy boundaries for people. If they don't respect your boundaries, then they go to the door. Because your energy, you have to protect at all costs, okay? And that means finding the right people to hang around with. That means that if it's family, if it's friends, you got to find those people. And don't just stick around no people. Don't be one of those people that just sit in your freaking room all day and do nothing, okay? Or just don't have anything going on for your life. Find those people. You will change just by being around those people. It's called osmosis, okay? You will become those people. So if you want better for your life, then get your ass up. Go find a church. Go find a support group, something. Go join the Masons. I don't know, whatever. Like, go be around positive people and figure out who your clan is, who's your people, right? Number 7, take time to care for yourself. A lot of you guys don't do that, okay? You need efficient rest in your life, okay? I was one that never did this. I would do 6 hours, 5 hours of sleep, and I felt like shit, but I thought I was doing more when I was actually not progressing. I was regressing. And I realized that I needed to do more self-care, get a little bit more rest. So some people are like, you don't need sleep. Get up at 3 a.m. Oh, that's bullshit to me. I think that's stupid. It's the dumbest shit I've ever heard, personally, for me. That's my idea. Exercising, stretching, things like that, making time for meditating, like take time for yourself, okay? Because if you can't care for yourself, you can't care for others, okay? Straight up. If you want to be a good parent, you got to make sure you put that time aside. Even if you have to just not tell people. I'm not saying lie, okay? Like sometimes I'll be like, I have an appointment at the gym, right?
You got to carve out your time.
You got to carve out your time.
And be greedy with it, like not
you
give
do.
it up.
Yeah, so for me, my gym time is very, very precious. My jiu-jitsu time is very precious. And some people don't like that you're doing jiu-jitsu in the middle of the day. Some people don't like that you're going to the gym, in the morning when you should be doing this or whatever. Like, I make every effort to carve out my non-negotiables and make sure I hit them. And I do. And one of them is my self-care is more important than anything.
But then you're a better version of yourself when you go back to your life, your work, your job, your family.
Correct, because you're gonna generate that 20-30% that you need to carry you through the next step.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes you just got to take time to yourself. It allows you to focus on your goals, your situation. Take time, travel, guys. Jesus, man. I'll tell you right now, man, I did not understand myself until I started traveling. Once you go to a different country and see how other people live, even going to Iraq, man, during the war and stuff like that, man, seeing people like have to go down to the river to get their water. Shitting in a hole outside.
Things in perspective.
Oh man, just the way people live, their values in life. It just makes you understand and respect where you come from. And if you're humble, then you end up appreciating things a little bit more. Guys, take time to yourself. It's so important, okay? I don't care what anyone says. People put you aside and say, you don't deserve time off until you get a goal. Like, that's just a crock of shit, okay? That's bullshit, okay? Anyone that tells you that is a retard, straight up, okay? You need to put in, like, a really good amount of work, but you got to take a day off here and there for yourself mentally.
There's a balance.
Correct. And that doesn't mean not going to the gym, because that could be leisure.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I'm saying, like, find your leisure time. Find time to take care of yourself mentally, physically, spiritually, okay? Go to church, take care of yourself, and if someone's saying you can't, just go anyways, find a way around it, or do what I do and just have an appointment with myself. Set your own goals, guys. This is number 8. I'm trying to figure out what I meant by this.
Number 8 is set your own goals.
Yeah.
All right.
I had a really good thing that I wrote down, but I don't want to go off of it. When you set your own goals, I want you to figure out realistic goals. Okay, realistic goals for the Dark Knight, Erik Medina.
Mm-hmm.
Realistic goals might not be being a millionaire in 1 year. Okay, that might not be realistic. That's a lifetime goal.
Yeah, I get you, Sid, but like not an
Don't
overnight
say that.
goal.
Yeah. Let's make obtainable
I want to bench
goals.
press 300 pounds. Oh, I needed to start a while back.
Correct.
Okay, I got you.
Well, yeah. So short-term goals, and then there's long-term goals.
Okay.
Right? You want to make sure that you understand and you identify the differences. Also, with no goals, how are you supposed to know your roadmap? How are you supposed to have, like, something to look forward to? Like, okay, cool, what's my goal? Well, my goal is to make $1 million. Okay, well, how am I going to get there? Okay. Well, if you have no goals to make $1 million, you're just on autopilot.
You don't have the blueprint. You don't have the plan.
Well, you haven't. The goal is to get there, is to have this, right? You want this. But then how are you going to get there? So that creates the second option, which is, okay, well, how do I get there? So then you get your mind racing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, now I got to create a blueprint. Now here's a blueprint. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to sell so many of this to get here, to get here, to get here, So you start the hamster wheel going, right? There was a study in 2021 where Harvard students, they They set goals with mentors who encourage them to raise their goals. Researchers discovered that the students performed worse than those who set goals without being challenged to raise them. Interesting. The researchers theorized this has two possible reasons. The first was that the goal in the raised group was too high for the students to achieve. The second theory was that the students in the raised group didn't feel ownership of their goal. Interesting.
So that's saying like if somebody puts a goal for you to achieve, you might not be that motivated to do it because somebody else gave it to you.
Correct. It has to be a self
Thing. Okay.
sustainable
All right. I
goal.
could kind of see that, dude.
Correct. So we got to set our own goals, guys. I do a weekly thing, a weekly update, like my goals for the week, what I want to do, sales I want to hit, things I want to do with the guys, and I'm always trying to progress. It never goes good in a business with setting expectations and goals. You always just got to put what you would like to see.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I always tell people, guys, what I would like to see is us to be here. I don't say like I expect that, because expectations means that you're demanding it.
Almost like doing like a little business forecast or something.
Yeah, guys, what I'd like to see is us here, right? I'd like to see us do this. Like, what do you guys think? And I always get feedback. Well, I don't know. Blah, blah, blah. Well, how can we hit here? Well, I could go door knock a little bit longer, and could do this a little bit longer, pass those flyers out like you were telling me last week. Okay, well, let's try that and see how it weeks. We meet back up the next week. Hey, how'd that work? Eventually, create a system, right, for those goals, and then eventually they end up adopting it. They end up making it a part of their day. You know what I'm saying? And then it always ends up working out that way, I think. Last but not least, guys, this is the most important.
Okay.
Don't be afraid to try again. Okay? Rejection, whether professional or personal, can be hard to deal with and move the past. But just because one person said no or didn't like you doesn't mean that you won't find someone else who will appreciate your ideas. Guys, this is the same thing with everything. Whether you think you're a person that can't find love, that could be an adversity. You might be like, man, what does that called? Where they say that? I'm a hopeless romantic.
Always looking.
Something like
yeah.
that. I'm always looking. I want to be loved, and I'm willing to,
Always the bridesmaid, never the bride.
Yeah, I'm always willing to try, and I just never find love. It's like, but if you're never afraid, right, and you have that adversity where you're like, man, I just can't seem to find love, right? I've just kind of been dealt with the same thing over and over again. You can't be afraid. You can't be afraid to try again. Because guess what, guys? All it takes is one time. There's a theory. It says it could take you 1,000,000 times to do something, but all it takes is one time to actually get it done, right? You could try 1,000,000 times and not succeed, but it only takes one time to actually get it done, or whatever that theory is. That one time supersedes those 1,000,000 tries, and it actually makes that amount of times that much more valuable. I believe that everyone has and can have what they want within a certain amount of time. I believe that everyone eventually gets what they deserve, right? I believe that. I truly believe that. But the most important thing is that you're not afraid to get up and go at it one more time. Like, try again, I've failed 1,000 times at business. I've made so many mistakes. I've given money away. I've spent too much money. I've lost too much money. I've been bankrupt almost 1,000 times. I had to try over and over and over again because, in my eyes, I knew that I believed in myself. Because it goes back to that idea that I came from such an aversified lifestyle when I grew up. And there was no fucking way that I was going to let that win. There was no fucking way that I was going to let my relationship with my family, my being brought up in, this type of family without a father, knowing the past that my dad had, there was no way I was going to let that supersede who Colt Curtis was going to become in his life. That didn't tell me who I could or couldn't become. My whole family is dead, broke, poor. All of them. All of them. Broke, poor, obese, fat, lazy, tired, miserable, depressed. All of them.
Mm-hmm.
Italian. My aunt had to have her leg cut off because she was so overweight.
Wow.
She was diabetic. She went blind. My Aunt Carmela went blind. Diabetes. I mean, like that's just a couple of the things, you know. Everyone in my family is basically overweight. And some of them, yeah, I have two uncles that have lost some weight recently. But, you know, it's just how my family was brought up, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I decided that wasn't going to be me.
You wanted more for your life, more for yourself, dude.
No, because you have to decide how much does your family mean to you. And all you people out there with kids and families, if you love your kids that much, you say, "Oh, I love my kids." Well, do you though? Do you really? Are you going to change the future for them, or are you going to have this repetitive cycle where it's a ongoing circus wheel? You know, is the cycle going to continue with Colt, or is it going to end with Colt? Am I going to sacrifice myself for the history of my family? Fuck yeah, I am. It ends with me. Obesity, being overweight, being lazy, being diabetic, not wanting more than just living on Social Security or disability is done with me. It is done with me. I am not going to accept a handout as my only form of life. I'm not doing that. I'm going to fucking do more, and I'm going to die trying. I don't care if I make it or not. I'm going to do it. And that's what I decided. Until like they close that casket and that freaking wheel turns and they drop that casket, like I am on a mission forever. You will never see me falter, ever. I will never. And I'll never have an excuse. Because who I am and who I become today is ultimately, it's because of my behaviors and my patterns.
Your habits.
And my habits. And you guys should have them too, okay? There's a lot of benefits to having adversities in your life, okay? Adversity can challenge you, while uncertain, not ideal. It can help you learn perseverance and how to stay above and positive in bad situations. It can also help you learn to cope with and change that adversity may bring. Adversity can help you grow and learn. It can show you are and how you cope with uncomfortable situations, okay? There's a few different types of adversities I want to give you, okay? It can come in many forms. But these are the 5 main ones, okay? There's emotional adversity, okay, which is rejection, trouble processing emotions, okay? Then there's mental adversity, which is learning disabilities, issue with memory. Then there's physical adversities, illness, disability, injury. Then there's social adversity, trouble making friends, dealing with bullies. Then there's financial adversity, poverty, loss of job, trouble in a career. Many forms of adversity, but none of those forms should adhere you to progressing forward. Correct? Guys, a couple things I want you guys to take away from this, okay? Adversity can occur no matter where you are in your life, okay? When you face adversity, it can lead to positive change in how you view yourself. Strategies to deal with adversity don't work in all situations for all people. So you got to find your own way, okay? You got to find what makes your adversity work with your own individual clan, okay? You may find that different strategies don't work for you at all, while you tweak others to make them your own, okay? You got to make sure that whatever adversity you have, you find your way to deal with it in your own way, okay? In your own life, okay? It's not going to be the same as if it was for you, Eric, versus me, if we have the same adversity. It's going to be different. Mm-hmm. You got to find what works for you. I find that a majority of the way to deal with adversity is to just accept that shit and own that shit, man. I did a post yesterday and I was just talking about, I said, you got to take your adversity and act like you own that shit. Own that shit, man. Fuck yeah, man. Straight up.
Extreme ownership.
Extreme ownership.
Chaco.
Yeah, my family, yeah. I even say it sometimes like it's funny, you know, like I'll talk about my family and I'll talk about my dad, you know, instead of saying, yeah, my dad's a transgender. I'll say, yeah, my dad's a tranny, you know, whatever. My dad has boobs. You know, like trying to make it like a joke, you know. Mm-hmm. But in reality, like, it's like a positive thing for me. It's just like it doesn't bother me anymore.
You've already built yourself up in a way that like is not going to affect you one way or the other.
Yeah.
Nobody could use that against you.
Nah. No one can hurt me, but the only reason no one can hurt me is because, I mean, it's not impossible. I think that everyone's penetrable. We're all human beings. Mm-hmm. But I think that the only way that people can get hurt is if you allow someone to hurt you.
Yeah, you don't give them the sword. Like, you hold on to that.
No. Mm-hmm. But that's why you just got to be cautious on, like, how much you let people in, right? Well, usually the only people that really like have an effect on me are people that are the closest to me. But I make sure that the people that are the closest to me are the ones that I rely on and appreciate and value the most, right? Which is a very, very select few of people, you know? Guys, adversity is something that we all deal with in life, something that's powerful. I don't want you guys to come off of this thinking, man, I have this adversity and Colt said a bunch of things that I can overcome it with, but, it's still there. You know what I'm saying? And I still have to deal with it. Start taking your adversity and just understand that it's your gift. It's there for you to become a better version of yourself, to look at yourself in the future and say, man, look at what I overcame, with all these things that I had to deal with, and I made it. You're going to be the one that teaches yourself how to heal, and then you're going to eventually teach others how to do the same.
Right on, man. It's beautiful.
Yeah, thanks. Other than that, guys, that's the end. We're going to wrap this one up for today. Other than that, guys, get up, get after it, and get some.